Hi, I'm Tony Russo, and this is In Case You Missed It from Kates-Boylston for the week ending Friday, August 2nd, 2024. It is earnings week with reports from Carriage Services, SCI, and Matthews Aurora. Matthews Aurora is actually reporting on Friday morning. It's Thursday evening as I'm recording this, so we won't be able to give you their numbers or their upshot, but I will be able to give you an overview of the other two. But first, let's talk about who didn't report numbers this week, and that was Park Lawn. The reason that Park Lawn Corporation didn't report its quarterly numbers is because it had a shareholder vote, and the shareholders approved its decision to go private, and so the shareholders will get $26 and change Canadian, $19 and change American, and Park Lawn will become part of a kind of conglomerate run by Homesteaders Life and Birch Hill Finance. It's really a Homesteaders deal. Everyone else is in there to help do the financing bit, but Homesteaders and Park Lawn are the companies with the vision for going forward. And we've done a ton of reporting on it in SCI and SCI. We've done a ton of reporting on it in FSI. That's the magazine I run. And you can catch all of it on our website. The upshot is that Park Lawn can't always produce the numbers that Wall Street demands because of its margins and its debt. And without the need to do that, it can be a very, very successful company. What the Homesteaders deal did was remove not only the debt, but the need to make these larger earnings beats month after month or pay the penalty in share price. So this has been, we'll talk about it more in January, but this has been the year of pre-need insurance with deals between Park Lawn and Homesteaders, and with SCI made a huge deal with Global Atlantic we mentioned last week, and that will come up in the earnings report that I'm going to go over. But people are starting to kind of turn their heads toward what a long-term plan of slow, predictable growth will look like, and it's pretty exciting, and we'll see how it shakes out for the little guys. As I mentioned, SCI reported its earnings, and you can see the raw numbers. I'll have a link to them in the show notes, but I wanted to talk about some of the takeaways that I got, and of course, the real deep dive you'll find if you're a subscriber to FSI. You'll find it in my reporting there. Service Corporation International made a deal with Global Atlantic for the Global Atlantic company to underwrite its pre-need, and part of that deal makes it more appealing for SCI salespeople to sell pre-need. The commissions are going to go up, and the coverage is going to be better and longer for the SCI customers. They're really excited about what they can do with the flexibility that this has given them. They also announced that they're going to probably spend another $100 million in acquisitions between now and January. So far, they've spent about $38 million, and their target is $75 to $150. And during the earnings call, they said they expect to beat that $150 number because of some of the things they have going on in the pipeline. And what was really interesting, though, was that it wasn't just the price that they weren't competing on price. They said that they were competing on availability. And again, all of that is in my reporting, but keep an eye on SCI for the M&A over the rest of the course of the summer and some of their big pre-need announcements, because I'm sure there are more forthcoming. Particularly interesting is their revamp of SCI Direct, which is doing a better job marrying their pre-need sales and their direct cremation sales, so as to get more people to pre-plan their direct cremation. And this is one of the places where they feel Global Atlantic is going to be really helpful for them. For the second time this year, and for the 6th out of the last 7 quarters, Carriage Services beat analyst expectations. What was really interesting, though, is both in the first quarter and now in the second quarter, Carriage Services has exceeded $100 million in revenue, booking about 102 and change in the second quarter. And this, according to their CEO, Carlos Quezada, is all on the strength of their revamping their cremation sales. So they are living the gospel of every family, every option, every time, and it has made a massive difference in their sales. So they're actually trying to kill, in fun terms, I guess, trying to kill their cremation, their direct cremation business for upgrading. Everyone gets something other than just a cremation, and it has been a massive mover for them. They also were able to not restructure their debt, but restructure their revolving financing so that they can kind of get back into the M&A game. We should hear more from them in the coming months, without really hurting themselves too much in the process. And again, full report in Funeral Service Insider, the newsletter. Some interesting news out of the UK, as funeral directors there have embraced a tracking app to list their unclaimed remains. There is a company called the Ashes Register, which provides a free online service that allows people to register the ashes of their loved ones when they scatter them or place them in the UK, where they're called ashes instead of cremated remains. The A.W. Lyman Family Funeral Service, which is one of the oldest independent companies, largest, I guess, independent companies in the UK, has decided to start using this to list their unclaimed remains, the hope being that people will see that there are remains to be claimed and then go ahead and claim them and affect a scattering. In the UK, they cannot release remains to anyone who doesn't have a right to them, but they also don't have any laws about how long you may or may not keep unclaimed remains. So the NFDA in the UK recommends 5 years, but that doesn't have the force of law. And A.W. Lyman was talking about they have some from World War II that they're just keeping because they're keeping them until they can find a good place for them. Anyway, it's a story worth checking out on the In Case You Missed It section of Kates-Boylston.com. Nevada has become the 3rd state to offer natural organic reduction. If you follow the funeral industry, which I assume you do, you're going to be saying, no. There are like 9 or 10 states that have legalized it. Legal and possible are 2 different things, and it's always been kind of the knock against natural organic reduction. People are very excited to pass it, and then they find that it's very, very difficult to actually get a facility open. Well, Earth Funeral, which was based in California and waiting for California to finally allow, so for instance, it's legal in California, but not possible until 2027. Right now you can have NOR in Colorado, in Washington, and in Nevada. And again, it's Earth Funeral who did all of the work to get it done. They had some lobbyists go and speak with the legislature and convince them that NOR was right for people. And then now that it has passed, it probably passed about a year ago this time, and now they are able to set up shop. So finally, there is a 3rd state in America where people can get natural organic reduction. How long it will be until there's a 4th state is anyone's guess, But I think that you may see, and this is just certainly just my opinion, I think that as credit opens up, if the interest rates come back down and credit is more widely available, people might be more interested in taking the leap, because it is a very expensive proposition, not only to build an NOR facility, but also to maintain it and to keep it with you. So that is a very exciting piece of news, and congratulations to Earth Funeral, with whom I've spoken a couple of times for different stories, to see that they're now out and have natural organic reduction in the third state. It bodes well. It bodes well for the process. And that will do it for this week. In case you missed it, has been a Kates-Boylston production. It was written, edited, and videoed by me, Tony Russo. If you aren't subscribed, we would love it if you were. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you are listening on the podcatcher of your choice, please subscribe on the podcatcher of your choice. If you are on a browser, then choose one of those. You can either go to YouTube or go to whichever podcatcher you use on your computer and subscribe. That way you get the updates. We do this every week. Next week, I'll be doing my first on the road episode. I'm very excited about that. And until then, this has been In Case You Missed It.